Hello, my name's Jackie Matthews from JM Professional and Career Coaching Services. We provide one-to-one coaching to help with any aspect of careers and also have an online course called Change Your Job with Confidence. Today is the first of a series of 10-minute free videos which will cover different topics related to careers and job hunting. We have a group on Facebook where all the resources that you see today can be found free of charge, and I'll show the details of that at the end of this video. So moving on to today, we're going to look at some top tips to get your CV noticed when applying for a job. Lots of different formats for CVs that you can find online. We're not going to talk about formats because the format is not as important as what you put in your CV. So we are going to focus on your CV being 2 sides of A4. It needs to be short and to the point. It also needs to focus on your achievements in each of the jobs that you've had, not what you did, because the job title is usually sufficient for the recruiter to know what you were doing. They want to know more about what you achieved in that job. If you're applying for a job in a different sector or a one where you've not worked in that sector for a while, then identifying your key skills will be important so that the recruiter can see that you've got the transferable skills that are needed for that particular job. Think about changing the emphasis slightly for your CV depending on the job that you're applying for too. The cover letter is really important and should never be missed out. It needs, again, to be very specific to the job you're applying for. And let's have a look now at a template cover letter to see what should be included. So, as I said before, you can download the template cover letter in the Facebook group. But let's have a look and see what you need to include. So, identify the post you're applying for and where you saw the advertisement. Introduce yourself, your key skills and experience, and why you are applying for the job. Next paragraph, using the job description or the person's specification, explain how you match what the recruiter is looking for. This can be in a bullet point list, and try and include some figures. For example, if your attendance has been really good, you've got 100% attendance, that's a good figure to put in. Your safety record, have you hit your annual targets, or have you saved some money for the company? Those sorts of figures are good to put in here. Next, research the company and make references to what you know. We're going to be looking at that in the next slide, so we'll leave that one there. And then finally, close the letter with a call to action, such as I would welcome a meeting to discuss the position further. So, more about cover letters then. So we said about researching the organisation and using 3 or 4 references in your application if you can. So you could refer to their mission statement or their values if they are up on their website. And it could be that you could use that as a reason for wanting to apply for the job because you agree with their values or you agree with their mission. You can talk about what is happening in the world that is impacting on them. Or are they opening a new shop? Are they developing a new product? Have they been in the news recently? So identifying the key things you want the recruiter to know about you is important. Making sure you've got the job description and the person's specification. And make sure you allow them to see that you have the skills they are looking for by referring back to the person's specification. So let's have a look at some minimum criteria that I've downloaded from one of the job sites, and this was for a store manager. You may not always get a job description, but the advert may identify minimum criteria and minimum qualifications, such as this one. These can be used as your basis for what you want the recruiter to know about you in the cover letter. Remember that you might not tick every box for the job description, but you cannot ignore the criteria if you don't have them. For example, if you look at this minimum criteria, it talks about experience in the retail environment, preferably within a high volume, fast-paced business. But you may have worked in a smaller, less busy shop. What you can do here is, instead of ignoring it, make it clear to the recruiter that you understand what the difference is and how you're prepared to make the change if you were to be successful in getting the job. Okay, maybe a little bit more tricky now about getting your application noticed. Do you know anyone within the organisation you could contact to talk to? That's always a good option, but not always available to us. Another way of doing this is to have a look on LinkedIn, find people that work for the company, comment on their posts, think of a reason to befriend them. And depending on the organisation or agency, they may not get back in touch. It's useful to show your interest and enthusiasm by calling or emailing. If it's a local company, you could consider calling in, but it's important to stay here that not every company will get back in touch with you. In fact, from personal experience, I went to an interview, there was only 2 people being interviewed, and I never got a phone call after the interview to say whether I was successful or not. So it's important not to take that personally, because it does happen, unfortunately. And are they really a company that you want to work for if they can't even get back in touch with you? So, as we know, we are struggling with a pandemic at the moment. So I thought I'd put some information up here to help you look at different industries. So I'm covering up industry number 1, which is travel and tourism. So it has been a nightmare for these different industries, but it's also been an opportunity for others. And some companies are in need of additional staff to work for them. And examples are cleaners and healthcare workers. The need for those posts are really high at the moment. And again, these are the top 5 industries that are hiring during the crisis. And as you keep, I'm covering up number 1 again, which is shipping and delivery. And as we all know, there's been a spike in online shopping, and Amazon, for example, the demand for Amazon is soaring, and they are recruiting. There's also a big demand for everyday goods such as food, because there's no restaurants open, and house essential, and also more recently DIY products, as everybody seems to be decorating. And now this graph's important because it's saying that there was a 47% reduction of applicants across all industries in February 2020. And in times of instability and crisis, people are reluctant to make big life changes, and that, changing jobs is one of those things. So they prefer to stay in the security of their current job in uncertain times. But it's also true that now, as we're moving in past lockdown, that many people are struggling and have lost their jobs because of the pandemic. So there are opportunities available. It's knowing where to look. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this first of our videos. I wish you every success in your job hunt. And if you'd like to gain access to the free resources, please look on Facebook for us and get in touch if we can help with anything. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.